This Axure exercise is to mimic the drag or scroll functionality of mobile devices. First, we need to set up our dynamic panels to allow the internal content to move on drag. The first dynamic panel represents the actual viewable area of our mobile device. We'll label it our content wrapper. Create the second dynamic panel by selecting all of the content within the wrapper, then right-clicking on the highlighted area and selecting Convert to Dynamic Panel. We'll label this panel Content. This panel will receive all of the different drag actions. Next, we need to specify our drag boundaries. Place an image map widget on the top of the newly created content panel. Move it into the top left corner of the prototype and size it to the exact same dimensions as the wrapper panel. We'll label this widget Viewport and send it to the back of the prototype behind the content panel. Now we need to create the snap to boundaries of the content. Place a new image map widget in the content area of the content panel, size it to be the exact same width as the content and about 16 pixels tall, and label it widget, or we'll label the widget top. Next, duplicate this widget, move it to the very bottom edge of the content, and label it bottom. Finally, select both of these new widgets and send them to the back of the prototype. Now we need to set our drag actions on the content panel. First, we need to set a case for the on-drag action that prevents the content panel from being dragged beyond viewport area. We'll need to set two conditions for this case. To do this, click on the Add Condition link inside the Add Case dialog. Select the Drag Cursor option in the first drop-down list. Set the second drop-down list to Is Over and leave the third drop-down selection on Area of Widget. Finally, select the Viewport widget from the pick list. This condition limits the draggable area to the area of the Viewport widget. To add the next condition, click on the plus button, set the first drop-down to Area of Widget, and select the content panel from the pick list. Leave the next two drop-downs as is, and select the Viewport widget from the final pick list. Select OK to save the conditions. Now we need to set the drag action associated with these conditions. Check the Move Panel option in the Actions list, and then check the Content panel in the right menu. Select Move with Drag Y from the Move drop-down. This ensures that the content will only move vertically to simulate our finger swipe or scroll action. Click OK to save. Finally, we need to set the top and bottom snap to functions by specifying two cases in the on-drag-drop action. For the top action, open the Add Condition dialog and set the condition of case 1 to if area of widget, top, is over, area of widget, viewport. Then select OK to save. Next, check the Move Panel option and set the Content panel to move to the 0 values for both the X and Y axes. We want the snap to action to be smooth, so we'll set the animate action to swing for a duration of 300 milliseconds. Then click OK to save. For the bottom snap to, we need to know how far the top edge of the content panel needs to move before the bottom edge aligns with the bottom of the viewport. First, we prepare our case just as we did with the top edge case, replacing the top widget area with the bottom widget area in the Add Condition dialog. Since we don't yet know the exact number of pixels the content panel needs to move, we simply save the case with placeholder information. Next, move the content panel so that the bottom of the panel aligns with the bottom edge of the dashed blue line representing the bottom of the wrapper panel. This is also the bottom edge of the viewport widget we created earlier. Once the bottom edges are aligned, we copy the negative Y value from the Position Indicator toolbar, which in this case has a negative value since we moved it up. Undo that action so that it's back in the original position. Open our second case, select the content panel, and set the XY values by pasting the copy negative Y value in that Y value space. Make sure the same swing animation is set and save the updated case. Now we'll test by publishing the prototype. Notice that as the viewable content is dragged beyond its endpoints, it snaps back to the nearest appropriate edge, and that the content can't be dragged beyond the viewport as we specified. And that's how you mimic the swipe action of mobile devices. Hope this prototype example has been helpful.